Hey everyone, it's Colin from DIY Guy. Thanks for checking out today's video where we're building this planter box. Although this is no ordinary planter box, this is a brilliant idea, if I do say so myself. It's a 5-gallon bucket planter box. So I got this idea because I was looking at my 3x6 planters, thinking about planting tomatoes and peppers in them, and I'm like, well, I can only plant like 6 of those in there because they get so large, and it's just a waste of garden real estate, to be honest. And so I have a lot of herbs that I still need to plant, and I didn't think that I could fit all the tomatoes and all the herbs and everything, and it still get enough sunlight. I felt like the tomatoes would really shade everything else. And also, the backyard doesn't get like the full 10 hours that I would want. And so I'm thinking about putting these actually in the front yard up near the road. And so if you think about putting a bunch of 5-gallon buckets, or worse yet, like bright orange Home Depot buckets up in front of your house near the road, kind of ugly, to be honest. And so even white buckets would be pretty ugly. So the idea behind this is you can seal the bucket. This is what we are building today. It weighs about, I don't know, 25 pounds maybe. All I used was really cheap wood from Home Depot. These are just picket boards that are used for like a picket fence, and they're about $3 a piece, and I used about 9 of them. So one more thing I've got for you before we get started on the build is the plans. So I actually posted these on Etsy. I'll give you a link in the description below if you want to check those out. Probably be like $3 or $5, nothing crazy. Took me about 10 hours to make these, but these are for the exact box that you see here. I just went through and basically designed or laid out the dimensions for each piece and the quantities of each piece that you'll need to build this. And this was a huge time saver because instead of having to think about each cut and each dimension, I just followed these plans, ripped all my pieces, and then you just put them together. As far as how it all goes together, I don't put like a step-by-step guide of how to build it in here. That's the purpose of this video. So once you cut all these pieces out, if you want to follow along in this video, I'm going to put it together just like you would at home. So without further ado, let's go ahead and build this thing. All right, at this point, we've cut all our pieces that are in these plans. Every single piece in these plans is on the table in front of us and ready to assemble. My favorite part about this planter is that, as you might have noticed, there is no hardware showing. Well, except this nail, which is not supposed to be there. So there's no hardware showing. I got this idea as I was looking at online ideas and pictures. I just noticed that a lot of them had screws showing that were just fastening the sidewalls together, and I just like the clean wood look. What I actually did, and how we're going to assemble all these pieces, is we're going to end up having 4 side panels, and then we're going to go ahead, join them all together, and then we'll put the trim on top. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to call out the pieces based on how I named them in the drawing. And so the first pieces we're going to put together are the corner brackets and the cross brackets. So you've got 2 corner brackets, which are 45 because that's how the corners are going to fit together. And then we're going to take 2 of the cross brackets. These will be the top and bottom trim of the box, essentially. So the way I'm going to do this, I do not have a pocket jig. A pocket jig would be really handy because when you go to fasten wood like this, it's really nice to have a pocket jig because you can put 2 screws kind of really at a really small angle into the next board. We're not going to use a pocket jig today because we don't have one and I didn't want to buy one. And then we're going to take what I called it's a slat upper. So we've got slat uppers and lowers. They're the same piece. It just one goes upper and one goes lower. And we're going to take this, and this is kind of going to be what holds our panels together until they're all completely assembled. So we're going to go ahead and make this flush with the top. And I'm really just going to show you how to make one of these panels because all 4 of them are the same. So we're going to take a bead of glue. And what we're going to do, we've got 1 1/4 inch 18 gauge brad nails. So I'm just going to shoot about 5 this way and put 1 on the top, and then just make sure that this is all snug to avoid any gaps. And then we'll do this other side and we'll go down a strip of 5. And then just feeling with my hand to make sure I'm hitting the wood, we'll go ahead and do 8 or so nails to hold that cross bracket in place. Now we're actually going to put this bottom cross bracket in, and we want this to be 2 inches up from the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and measure 2 inches from the ground, basically. And we'll go ahead and line this piece up and just make a mark so we can see that. Making sure this is held in place. Another bead of glue. Then we're going to do the same thing. Make sure your bottom cross bracket is lined up on your marks. And this wood is actually pretty soft, and so I'm only at like 60 psi on my pressure tank. These next pieces we've got are the slat middles. We're gonna have 3 of these for each panel. And I think I calculated that the gap between each of these panels is roughly 1/8 of an inch. So I just found some pieces of cardboard. These are gonna act as my spacers. And there we go. There is 1 of 4 panels. Okay, we have got our 4 side panels made. So we're gonna take 2 of these and put them together, and we get a absolutely beautiful seam. We're just gonna clamp it together to hold it in place. We're gonna flip this around so you can see. I need to add these to the drawing, but I cut 4 15-inch long, basically 1 inch by 1 inch pieces of wood. These are gonna be, they're just gonna be flush with this is the tops. And then we're gonna leave some room here, because if you have different height 5-gallon buckets, you may want to either raise or lower the bottom bucket holder that we're gonna make. So I've got 2 lengths of screws here. They're both deck screws, but I've got 2 2-inch deck screws and 1 1/4 inch. For this, we're actually gonna use the 2-inch ones, because we wanna go through this little corner piece and then also through the next piece, and then partially through the other piece. So this is where we're really gonna get some sturdiness to this instead of just brad nails. Okay, we didn't stick out the other side. So we currently just fastened this little piece to one side, but now we'll go into the other wall, go into the other wall here. All right, and there's the first side done. So now we've got something that looks like this. We're just gonna do that for the next 3 walls. So I'll go ahead and just speed this up. All right, we just got all the corners done. Now we'll take the clamps off and we'll flip it over, see what we've got. That is a pretty dang good looking box. Pretty good 45s, about as good as we can expect from wood this rough. Yeah, this looks nice. Now we've got our square here. We can check the insides. Beautifully square. That's what we like. We're just about done, and it's pretty toasty out here. But before we put the top trim on, we're actually gonna do the bottom plate, the bottom bucket holder. And when I put those corner pieces on, these things we just screwed into, I made them all the same length. That way, when I make this bracket, I can just rest them on those corner pieces. Okay, so from before we cut these 10 pieces, we've got 2 longer ones, and then these 8 shorter ones are actually gonna go inside the longer ones like this. And so, I'll actually stand them up like that. Basically just gonna do this and make kind of a sideways ladder with them. But I am gonna tack them, at least the outside ones, together, because I'm gonna make sure that they fit inside the planter. that we just made. And then when we decide that it fits well, then we'll go ahead and actually put some screws in there to hold it permanently. So here's our bottom bracket, put that in, beautiful, it fits perfectly. And my wife is outside watching me, making me feel self-conscious. So now we're gonna go ahead and just tack all these into place. Now we're gonna do just one screw in each one. And there we go, there's our bucket bracket. Now we're just gonna take this and put it in there, and we'll drill some more holes, lots of hole drilling. I used the 1 1/4 inch screws last time. And just like that, there's your bottom bracket. Okay, now we just gotta put the trim on. Okay, this is probably my least favorite part because it's the most visible. It's almost perfect. I think I just need to shave off a little bit of one of them, just make it like a 47-degree angle. Now, there's only one thing left to do, and that's put something in it. So we've got a 5-gallon bucket. We drilled probably 20 1/8-inch holes in the bottom. So I have some dirt prepared specifically for this moment. Nice and worm rich. And we also, Michaela and I went to a high school ag thing today, and they were selling tomatoes. And so it's perfect. I was either gonna buy them at Home Depot, or find them somewhere else, and they were actually cheaper at this little ag thing. So now's the true test. We're gonna see if this actually holds it. Oh gosh. Oh, no problem. Easy peasy. I didn't even hear any cracking. Awesome. All right. So here's the cute little tomato plants I got. It was $2 for 2 of them. Not a bad deal at all. Also got a free weed in there. But they look small now, but they're gonna get big, and I really just want them to have their own space. Well, there you have it, folks. There are 2 brand new 5-gallon bucket planter boxes. They look great. I think this is the one we just built today. Here's the final product. Good work, team. Well, that's all I've got for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check out the Etsy link if you want to buy those plans. They're just a really simple design, but all that upfront design work makes it really easy to build these boxes. Like I said, there's no instructions in the plans. It's just you watch this video and you kind of figure out how to put it together from that. There's your finished product. If you think that's something you'd like, check that out. Otherwise, keep growing yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.